Welcome back to the Titanium Hanger. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about the Craftsman Toys Legends scale versions of Scattershot and Afterburner. They call them Burst, Gallop, and Light Strike. And they look pretty good. They're a bit of a stylized take on a Legends scale Computron that they're putting together. And I'm looking forward to building this guy. And with that, I did get this at Shows Storm. I have a link down below where you can get yours. After this set, there's only one more 2-pack, and the whole set is built if you already got the first one. And it's kind of interesting how they're doing it. I think it's like $80-something for a set of 2, so I expect that for the next one. But let's take a look at these guys. They're a little bit intricate and a little bit stylized, but they still look pretty good, and they function relatively well. Let's get into looking at all this and more coming up. Here's the box. Not much to write home about, but still looks good. It's kind of animation art on there. You don't see the actual product on the front side. Nice animation though, like nice drawings. And there's the back package. Here they are out of the package and armored up with their gear, and I think they do look pretty good. They've done a good job with them. One of the things I gotta say is that even though they're stylized, I like the Super G1 stuff the most, but I never really felt like this, since they're based on non-real world vehicles or kind of space vehicles, that I was okay with them being a little stylized all along, and I never really had a problem with that. More like the Superion and Devastator and them. I like them Super G1, but these are not like Earth modes. I think that's kind of the same mentality when they take on like Rodimus Prime in a stylized take. It doesn't really bother people nearly as much because he wasn't based on an Earth mode. But anyway, this is a nice set of figures. We'll just start with this one here first and take a look at him. Now he does come with his gun and these 2 side mounted cannons, sort of like what we get with the Seekers, like their ion cannons. So that's kind of cool. And there's other places you could probably put them, like obviously on the feet here. This looks like a 3mm port? I don't know why you'd want to put them on the feet. I'm sure that's for all mode and stuff, but clipping them here makes it look kind of cool. And then there is some paint deco, not a lot, but you got some deco on the face, some on the shoulders, a little on the chest, some gold and some charcoal there, a little bit on the waist piece. So the more you look at it, the more paint you start to see that they did apply some paint hits to this thing. It's not bare bones, that's for sure. And I do want to point this out. Although this one's not really that bad, they do have very thick lower legs. All of them do. And it's not a problem to me because at the end of the day, I just want the combine mode out of this is what I'm going to be using them for. And that's my ultimate goal. But they still look good in the standard bot modes. And the way the wings fold up on the side and collapse, that is actually better, way, way better than what G1 did. So I like that so much better than what the actual G1 figure did. And yeah, but still some kind of thick legs, but not bad, not horrible. But I think thick enough to sort of get in the way of articulation. That's the only downside to the thickness and bulkiness of a figure such as this. Anyway, got some pretty good paint apps on this one too. Got some nice blue eyes, silver on the head, some white paint here, which white is kind of hard. I've noticed that trying to touch up white paint on stuff is really hard. And then some red right here, some breakup. Looks pretty good. A lot of stuff going on the wings. Nice looking figure overall. And then of course there's his gun. That's what his gun looks like. All right. Good looking dudes. Let's get into some articulation. Alright, so shoulder only goes out to there. Hindered by this, so you can move that a little bit. So 90, 360, bicep swivel, only one. So not a double jointed elbow. So not highly articulated waist. Let's see, you have to kind of move some stuff out of the way to get some waist swivel. But you can get the waist swivel. Oh, I forgot the head. It's not a ball joint. Same old ball joint stuff. Going all the way out to the side here. That's as far as you can go. I like it when stuff pops off and I can just pop it right back on. That's me trying to go extreme with it. Almost 90, well, right at 90 to the front. about 90 to the back. Thigh swivel, knee, as I showed before, is just to a 90, and it does kind of collide with some stuff because of the thickness of the leg. And then probably due to transformation, though, you got everything you need ball jointed in that foot and kind of tight. Well, I guess it has to be. On a little side note, since this popped off, it appears to be the exact same part on both sides, which I mean, you want to save on production. And they just put 2 ball joint holes. So one's going to go on one side and one's going to go on the other, but they just clip it at different holes. So that's an interesting little thing, a little manufacturing tidbit. I'm going to compare these to my G1, and yeah, my G1s are beaters. Well, this one's actually in pretty good shape. That's a beater. But the thing is that size-wise, you can see in G1 that you had the main bot, and then it almost looks like Soundwave and his minions, because these guys are so much smaller than the main bot. This gets closer to what we saw in the animation, and it makes a lot more sense, and it looks better on display and on a shelf to just be, maybe 2 or 3 heads taller, not easily twice, if not 2.5 times the size. This never really felt right to me when I was a kid. This would have felt much closer if they could have figured that one out back in the 80s, but still, I like to show the G1. Here's next to Magic Craftsman Prime, and they are on the big side, but they are going to make a combiner, so it is what it is. At the end of the day, it is what it is. There you go. Size and scale. Now for the transformation, of course, we're going to start with the arms, and like always, we open these up. Understand, I'm holding off on my Mana Petty until I get through some of these Transformers reviews, because I have spudgers, I don't like using them so much. I like using just my nails, especially on Masterpiece, because I can feel how things are going a whole lot better. Anyway, okay, so we are going to, this is kind of a strange bit of transformation that we have going on. It is, but it's not at the same time. We have to come down here to the feet, the legs. Let's get this stuff right here to the side. Then we are going to fold out the feet, and then we are going to fold them up like that to get it in there. And then we need to bring this out. So I think we have to fold this like that to bring it out, and then it's going to come out and around. We are going to fold this all. Let's see how this turns. How the world turns. Yeah, turns into here on a very, very tight. It's tight. Very, very tight. Then this is going to close up, and we're going to have this windscreen over that. Whatever you want to call this. Is it a windscreen? And then, so I think this folds out in another mode. The next mode for the combine mode. Then we're going to do the same thing over here. We are going to fold this out and around. Get the foot, fold it up, this into it. So I feel like I could put this more into it than I did with this side. Nope, because you're supposed to have this long one in here. There we go. There we go. And we come over here, close this up, and then these should tab together. No, Mike, you're too darn loud. I can't believe something as simple as just getting this foot in here. I'm trying to get it ready for limb mode. It needs to look more like this. So how that's going to work. It's simple, but I don't know why I'm making a big deal out of it. That is pretty much how it needs to look. Then you come over here and close it all up. Then you tab it together. Then we're going to open this up. And then this is going to fold over. Now before we close this up, we need to fold these wheels down on both sides at the same time. I guess get those arms out the way. Then we close it up, and you know you've got it right when these tabs tab into these slots. Then from here, we arrange these just right where they will sort of tab into the hand there. This is sort of a mushroom peg. Mushroom peg into the hand that's there. All right, like that, and you're pretty much done with them. You can plug your guns into the side. These little holes right here, and then I'm sure there's a spot for this guy here to plug in somewhere, maybe right there. All right, let's get into the next one. Now for Scattershot, we're gonna open this up, pull his head up, flip it around, and it's going to kind of double wedge into there. Then we are going to open up these tabs back here, which that just was fine and easy. That opened up. The tabs are here. Get them from the inside. And then that's going to free the arms up to come down. And I've already pre-done one arm. We'll do the other here in just a little bit. Fold these tabs away just so they're not in the way. Then we are going to untab this here, spin it around, and we've got that opened up. So we can, well, I guess we could just close this right now. Then we have to fold these up. And then this piece here is going to come down on them, but you have to slide this whole piece down, and then this should seat right over this. There we go, just like that. Then we come up to the top. We open this up, slide this out, and then there's this tab, a notch for a tab. We'll pull these wings, open them up, and then we can, at this point, slide these down into position. And then we want to move these around. So it's that part I was talking about earlier, the hip flaps. That's interesting that it works in the opposite way on each side, even though it's the same exact part. Very interesting engineering there, saving some money there. Then let's get this arm done here. So basically we're going to open up the back, fold this around. This folds in, this folds out, and then it goes around it. Then for whatever reason, and I'm trying to even figure out the engineering because it doesn't make sense, but you're supposed to open this up, fold this around. Oh yeah, because it's going to tab into a different tab than what it was tabbed into before. That's why you open it up. Has nothing to do with the folding. And then, and then. There we go. We got that tight. Now these will peg into the legs here in a bit when we are done with all of that. So for the legs, we're going to untab this, and then we need to fold this piece here. Let's go ahead and collapse the toe and heel spur, fold around on a really tight joint, fold this bad boy around. Then we need to open this up. Just grab right here and open it up so that we can collapse this. How far do I gotta collapse this bad boy? Go all the way in there. And then, which one do we have on the top and the bottom? Now that you got both legs done, you tab them together. And then slide these forward to make that work. You can bring the wings out, and then we got to bring these arms down. And the arms are going to tab into right here. There we go. And almost done. And the wings are got to flip around, so that was kind of a faux pas. I struggle with these types of vehicles that are not real world, or they're just so stylized. There's so much going on with them. Like, is that right? Is this right? There it is. That's more like how it should look. Alright, so here they are in their alt modes, and I think they look pretty good. Don't look bad. As they are a bit stylized here, it's not bad. It's not a... It's one of those things that actually look pretty cool. The addition of the transparent blue here makes it look really, really cool. I like that. And then the way they did the wheels. People do... Some people are criticizing, I think it's Bingo Toys that really looks like a three-wheeler kind of thing. This doesn't look too bad. It's not like, you barely notice those tiny wheels on it. But we'll do comparisons to G1 here in a little bit, because that's very important. But looking pretty good. I like how you can put the guns on there. I like how you can put the original, like the G1-ish kind of style gun with it. It's pretty nice that you can do all of that. But again, remember, it's very, very stylized. I start to wonder, would the gun fit in that hole there, but would it be worth it to try? I don't know. And on this one, now this one is so far from the original that it's even kind of hard to figure out what's going on with it. Like these extra, I'm looking at my original and I don't see these extra wings on it, and it feels like there's just an empty void right here. But it's still a cool looking ship. Don't get me wrong. It is kind of cool looking. Wonder if I should slant those down more in the back. You do kind of see some little thrusters going on that's detailed into it. So they've done some cool stuff with it. And you know, they just did what they wanted, and they wanted to make it look interesting. It does look interesting, that's for sure. These guns, which I don't know in the arms that they were so much movable. I didn't notice that, but I noticed they're movable here. So you have some articulation in that. And then and it's nice that you do kind of have this whole G1 effect with that cannon in the front. Not sure it does anything. It does kind of shine. There's like a reflectiveness off of it. I don't know. Is there supposed to be LED in there or something? Looks like there's something going on in there. It's just not just plastic. But anyway, there's that. I guess we should go ahead and get into comparisons. So yeah, my G1's kind of rough, but this one compared to G1, how it looked, and yes, a lot of the reds are faded. It's not supposed to be pink. But it's a different, it's almost the same size though. I want to point that out. In the alt mode, about the same size. So I think that's the biggest takeaway from the G1 with this. And then this does look like anything we've ever seen before. It's their own take. And it's nice that you got this feature here they still kind of integrated that in a way, in their own way, by putting in a sort of a cockpit. So I like that homage. It works. But not a whole lot else that carries over. I mean, looking at them from the back, you do see the thrusters. Not much more. I will say this looks way cooler than the G1, but I like the simplicity of the G1. Scattershot here, this one looks a little bit way more, well, it's more stylized, but you can see the character come through in it. You can see it. It's not like, oh, who's that? You know exactly who it is. And the G1 is very, very simplistic. This is more interesting. What I wanted it to be exactly G1, not really. I do like a bit of stylization. Is this over-stylized? Some could argue that, but it still looks cool. I mean, it is what it is. And it's Legends. Would I want the masterpiece to be this stylized? Well, Bingo Toys is making theirs, and we'll see how that works out. and we'll see how they compare. I actually think the Bingo Toys is going to be more stylized than this from the pictures I've seen. Here's how they scale with more of the Legends stuff. Magic Square, New Age. They are bigger than Legends. You would think, like, this wasn't that much bigger than the mini-bots. I mean, it was slightly bigger than the mini-bots. But then again, this is going to be a big combined mode. Getting into combined mode gets a little bit involved here. So we want to close this up. And then we need to disconnect this. Put that back up here. And then we're going to open this up. And we are going to just basically be putting a lot of things back. Slide those down. Fold this back in place. Put this back down here. Fold this back up. And then we need to open the head, get the head out. Now, we have to bring the horns out. So, is it open from the bottom? Yeah. With the antennae, which is crazy because it's connected to some, what is this, light piping or something? It's connected to some clear pieces in here, which is kind of weird. Kind of weird and kind of crazy. We do need to bring the arms back up, so disconnect the arms. Which I feel like this tab didn't do anything into the arms when we were in the other mode. So we're going to bring this up into here. This up into here. Bring this up. And that rotates back. We're getting there. This is funny too. It looks like a little boy with a big head. That's funny. Alright, around on the back here, we're going to fold this up. And then this is going to come around and tab into it, into the tab on the side. Not the slot that we used before. Then this comes down and tabs into place. We got to do the arms, but let's get these pieces here. So these are going to come up and around. Get them in the right position there. So they're on a swivel kind of thing. You got to get them in the right position or they won't clear that ledge. Then we have to do the old open up this and then turn it. And then it's going to go up into here. Then you got to tab it in right here. Fold this down and around. And then this comes forward for the back. Same thing on the other side. Then we come down here to the legs. So let's start with messing with these legs. Mine kind of separated on their own, but you can separate them. Then bring them down and then tab in this piece here. Open that up, bring them down. There's really not much opening to do. And then we want to bring in, let's see here, at the end of this, these are going to come up. But we got to bring in the combiner piece here and slide it in. So we need this enough out of the way to slide in the waist piece. Spreado, Susie. There we go. There it's in. And then we're going to, of course, close all this up here. I think this is going to stay up top because we got to plug these bad boys in. Make sure these legs are extended back absolutely as far as possible. And then I'm going to go ahead and fold this up for the time being, just get out of the way. We need to bring it up in here and tab it in. It feels like it's tabbing in, but it doesn't look like it tabs in. And then we're going to fold this foot down, fold this foot down, make it clean up a little bit more. And we're close. I think we're almost there. And then we're going to turn the head around because this is the front. The back becomes the front, which is, it's not the first time that's been done before. There we go. Get all this flattened out. With it being stylized, it is kind of a bit of a challenge knowing is this exactly how it's supposed to be? That's one challenge with stylized stuff, but I'm just going to accept that this is what it's supposed to look like, and we'll be back. Alright, so I already had this thing halfway transformed, and then I transformed it back. Camera wasn't rolling. Now I got to open this. One thing I did learn, though, was I did learn some stuff. Let's go ahead and pull these legs out from here, and then we are going to disconnect the arms, fold the arms forward. It has gap filler in the side I didn't have, so all my footage is a waste because I didn't have the gap filler. Now you close the gap fillers that I didn't use in the first place. That's so strange. That is just very strange. Now we're gonna, well, you're supposed to lift this up, fold it back, and then this whole thing here comes up. Then this stuff here is gonna go kind of up here like this for now. Out the way. Move out the way. This is going to be a little interesting. Getting this piece out is really hard. So I'm going to credit the bot bender with an amazingly simple solution. Push it from the bottom like that. So amazingly simple. And then we get with this, we have to flip it around. Alright, it's going to tightly flip around. And then very tightly. Then tuck in. And then this comes up. And the weird thing about this is it doesn't come all the way up. It comes up but to a slight angle. And then you're supposed to bring these up and tab them in to correspond with the strange slight angle that it is. So, it's not mine to wonder why they did it like that. Alright, the next thing we need to do is work on this. We got to move this segment here past this. This is going to fold down. And these are going to kind of go into this to sort of look about like that, I guess. And then we have the legs. Now, I did this one already. This is confusing. It probably shouldn't be confusing. And I guess after thinking about it, like, why do they do it the way they did it? I think it's so that this can be like a filler. Alright, so we have to flip it around until basically you've got this piece that's going to be on the top there of that. So get it to where, is that the right piece? Nope. This is the right piece. Well, no, I had it right because this is going to fold in to here, and then this folds down, and that's going to go onto the top. Like that. And I say, for whatever reason, I do believe that when, because we're going to fold this up into here. Engage this lower one. When we fold it up into here, it is going to be more of an arm. It's part of the arm, so it's going to be a filler, so there's not just a giant gap right there. I think that's why they did it. Let's get this tabbed in right and get all, it's double jointed, so it's kind of a pain. There it goes. Tab in right. Then these can come around and tab to this side here. Oh, I like that. Get the right tab in there, Mike. And then I think we're pretty close to done. Should have the arm all the way out. Let's engage the hardware there. All right, and I'm just doing this right now because it's probably easier before you have the hand on it and stuff, but I want to get the elbow turned this way so that you can have it the right way. There it is. Now we got to put the hand on it, and what you're going to do is just going to slide this over it. So it's going to slide over this and that. So it's double slid. You're doing some double sliding here. And I guess you don't really notice it because it's pretty seamless there. And we're done with the arm. And this one comes with a gun, so I guess Computron's a lefty. Now to build Computron, it's a little interesting how they did it. You fold the knee back, and it opens up a slot that you reverse tuck it into from the back, and you got to make sure all this stuff's out of the way. Reverse slide it into. More elegant than I am doing. I'm kind of tearing the whole thing apart to get it in. But yeah, it slides in and then we close it up. I'm going to do it off camera. Not hard at all off camera. Just trying to look around camera and make it all happen is not as easy as it would look. And if you really want to, you could do with a second leg. If you had a spare one of these, an extra nose cone, if you were looking in advance and wanting to get this thing completed like I was, then you could do this. Because I wanted to get this bad boy completed. Ah, come on. Again, not easy to do on camera. Was very easy to do off camera. There, slide that in, and then it'll hold itself. Then you close all this stuff in. Now here's the thing, depending on which way you put this, you could make this arm either arm. You know what? I think this is supposed to be the right arm, and I was wrong. This is supposed to be the right arm. And so they make it to where you can swap the thumb, which I don't know why they would have done this, but I mean, everything it's real simple. You just pop it out and pop it back in, but it's a nice tight ball joint, and so with that it takes pressure. There it goes. And then you could just flip the elbow joint around, and here it is. We are going to slide her into place, and at the same time disconnect stuff. I am going to perform a little arm maintenance here. I'm going to open this all up, put that. I didn't have that retaining tab in, so it fell out. That's all on me. No big deal. Not the end of the world or anything. Did it on this side too, so that's going to be ready to go. So I can plug all that back in. But he's pretty much combined, ready to go. I'm going to get him with his gun and some stuff, and we'll be back. Alright, so here he is for combined mode. We're just going to do a slight preview, so we still have something to look forward to when we finally combine it. Some of the things are going to be off, like obviously the ankle tilt only works one way on this guy to have two of them. This is just straight, and this one can tilt. So you're going to have that issue, and so the camera can have a bump. And then he looks pretty good. And he's pretty solid. If you finally get around to doing it right, all 150 steps, then it's going to look pretty good. And yeah. Hold up, did I lose a gun? I lost a gun. one of the guns fell out. I'll have to go look for that, but anyhow, pretty cool looking stuff overall. Not bad, not bad. Not a bad looking figure. They did a good job with them. The engineering's solid. There's just a lot of teeny little steps, and a couple of them are so really important that if you miss them, then like the arm will fall out if you don't put that retaining piece back in. I just forgot to do that. But a little bit of articulation. It works. He's got the biceps, elbow. Elbow is super tight, which I guess you need it. And you got the swivel. So quite a bit of stuff you can do with him. He's going to look great on display. And the head has a lot of articulation. And you have another faceplate. So if you want him screaming, you can have a screaming faceplate. I don't know, since the faceplate comes with this, I'm not sure which one I like more. Do I want a screaming face or a, what you call a stoic face? I don't know, I kind of think I like the stoic face better. And I'm going to leave it at that. Alright, this is the Craftsman's Toys. Burst, Gallop, and Light Strike. And it's definitely moving pretty quick on this. That came untabbed on me as I was moving around. But I think they did a good job so far. It looks pretty good. It's nice that they have done this, that they have made this figure Computron. First Legends Computron out the gate. Doing a decent job with it. It looks good. They've done well. I don't really... it is stylized. Yes, I always want everything to look super G1, but this is one of the characters that I'm A-okay with, because I actually don't need another Legends Computron. I don't need Magic Square to make one. This is great. Like, this is going to work for me. It looks really good. It gets the job done. And for the most part, like, this already wasn't based off of Earth stuff anyway, so stylized is fun. Anyway, I do have a link down below where you can get yours. It shows you store because that's where I got mine. And I'm waiting on technically another leg and another arm. And we'll be done. Teddy Ringer out.